Hey everyone, I'm doing a from newest and in 5 minutes I will tell you which one of these two is the best for you. And I want to start with the Galaxy A54, which between the two is the more elegant device with a little bit more modern design and some features that will certainly set it apart, such as water resistant or the micro SD slot. Its screen is also a little bit brighter, and if you wanted to watch a lot of videos, for me, is the best option. The POCO F5 Pro is not bad in these aspects either, but its design is perhaps a little bit blander, more generic, although is a lot more comfortable in the hands. Its screen is perhaps not as bright, but we can increase the resolution even more, and for multimedia content, it's still great. And look at this! The proximity sensor finally works. It's as if the A54 was the best in technical terms, but in a day-to-day use, the POCO F5 Pro just feels a little bit more comfortable. But the same could no longer be said when it comes to comparing the performance between both devices. And that's because in synthetic benchmarks, the POCO with the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 destroys the Samsung processor in all the tests you put it through. And then in day-to-day tasks or just opening apps, the difference is so much that it seems unfair to be comparing the two phones. If you want them from gaming, the difference in performance in Genshin Impact should be enough, but in other titles like Diablo Immortal, you can see how the POCO is able to duplicate the frame rate. Qualcomm processor is much better than Samsung's in every way, and this is important when you're buying a mid-range device. Although, well, I don't know whether we can consider the POCO F5 Pro as a mid-range anymore. It's true that they both launch for $499, but when using the POCO F5 Pro feels more like a high-end phone. Its performance in games or when using the system, it's flawless, not to mention its wireless charging support. We also have fast charging up to 67 watts, and attention, then in the box we have a charger and a case, unlike the A54 that comes with a cable and nothing else. In this sense, there's only one thing that I prefer about the Galaxy A54, and it's the system, because One UI 5 feels a little bit more complete and less cumbersome customization layer than MIUI, and in the long run, it tends to receive more and better updates as well. But Xiaomi continues to treat MIUI as a second-rate system, and many of the features that we see in the Chinese version don't even come to the West. Having said all that, there's only one thing that may change your decision, and it's the cameras. Both phones have a good main sensor, capable of capturing a lot of details in favorable environments, but the calibration of white or colors in general are much better on the Galaxy. Both phones had AI photo enhancement activated, but in almost all instances, the contrast and saturation of the POCO is exaggerated. And interestingly, at night, the Galaxy is also superior. Still, I find the wide angle is better on the POCO since it is at least more consistent. The macro is better on the Galaxy for the simple fact of having a better resolution, and the front-facing camera, I think it's much better on the Galaxy as well. When we go to video mode, the POCO gives us a much better stabilization, but with a big difference. And that is, if you look at both videos, the POCO is much more cropped than the Galaxy, even knowing that both are recording with the same settings. Another difference between the two is in the colors achieved, and as happened with the photos, the Galaxy ends up being more faithful to reality. The POCO not only saturates and exaggerates its contrast, but it also gives us a green tint to the dog and the cat, for example. So, if you're thinking of recording videos, the Galaxy will give you much better results, also in environments that require a good dynamic range. And even if it's not the best when it comes to stabilization, the truth is that the POCO also has some problems that have not yet been solved. Having said all that, I think the final decision, it's very clear. If you're not picky about the performance and you're looking for the best camera, well, the Galaxy A54 is the best choice for you. You will get a nice looking device with an excellent screen, and on top of that, you will probably pick it at a lower price. However, if you want the most balanced phone and with the best performance, the POCO F5 Pro is another excellent choice. And remember that with the Qualcomm processor, it's much easier to install a Gcam, and in the future, just simply put, another ROM. But anyway, this is just my opinion, and if you have a different one, you can leave it at the comments. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao ciao!